Hey, I'm Spooky Dookie.
And I'm Creepy Peepee.
And this is
The Shakedown.
Oh my goodness. I don't know what happened last week. I wasn't mentally here.
Neither was I.
But that's okay, because the roast was kind of lethal on its own.
Yeah, exactly. Just
It's
had to be there.
A new day in the workroom, and we're here we're week 4, right?
Yes, exactly.
Week 4,
Halfway through the competition.
girl, and it's getting crazy. All right, we're going to jump straight into it. So this week's challenge was 80's.
80s.
Now, what does that mean?
The 1980s was a decade of life in Earth.
I meant the challenge.
Oh, which what do you mean? They had to perform an 80s thing.
Yes, okay. So they were tasked to do an 80's runway and an 80's performance challenge open to their interpretation.
Yes.
And it was okay for the first half, but the really second half really tied it in for me.
Yes, I agree.
It was kind of crazy. And the runways were campy.
They were definitely 80s as hell.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean they were cute though.
Gag.
But that's an insult to the 80s.
Oh,
None of the
okay,
contestants.
Okay. All right, without further ado, let's get into our runways. All right, first up we had Tabitha Christie in this super avant-garde Lee Bowery kind of outfit. Now, what did you think of it?
I thought it was really cool, the concept and stuff. I definitely was getting Lee Bowery and like Club Kid type stuff.
Very Club Kid.
That vibe. So
Loved the headpiece.
Yes.
And just the shape of it all. You know,
Yes.
it was giving very much like those kid TV shows.
Yeah.
Where like he was like the most crazy looking like clown or creature.
Do you know Booba?
Yeah, Booba. Oh,
It was
I loved
totally
it.
giving Booba.
I just loved how out of the box it was in the
Yes.
sense of silhouettes in today's,
Yeah.
runways. I loved it. I loved the color blocking of it all. And I think it was very on brand for Tabitha.
I agree. It was like
Yeah.
Tabitha 80s, but a twist.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like, okay, maybe you would expect Tabitha to come in like the teased hair looking like Katy Perry in the TGIF whatever
Yeah,
video,
exactly.
but like no, she came with like a twist, and I really liked that. But it was still for like on brand for her.
And clock it, the gloves had nails. Like they were like rhinestones as
Yes.
nails. So I loved it. I'm going to give it a 9.
I'm agree. I give it a 9.
I thought it was amazing. Great job, Tabitha, this week. Next up, we had Tiramisu and this lovely pink, blue, 80's print, rhinestoned blazer. I loved it only because I'm a slut for rhinestones.
Yeah, me too.
But, Tiara, a black pump. I don't know, if it was like neon hair orange, I love
Yeah.
that. And neon pink, neon blue, and then you follow it down and it's just a black
pump. Oh, girl.
Like, yeah. I would have loved it, like any other color pump, any color.
Yeah.
A pink pump, a blue pump, a white
Something
pump.
neon-y.
Something fun or neon. But I was just kind of like sad. I was like, oh, girl.
Yeah.
It's just, that would have really tied it in for me.
It would have.
Yeah.
And the rhinestones look so good though. Like the way it
All hand
sparkled,
done.
that was
She handed that.
stunning. Period.
I remember she would text my little group chat being like, hey, can anyone help Rhinestone? And I'd be like, no. But no, I thought it was great. You know, it very much looked like a piece of art.
Yes.
Which I really loved about that. I thought I loved it. You know, it was giving David Bowie the hair.
Yes, definitely.
I was expecting big hair. And so she kind of gagged me. I was like, ooh. Okay,
Yeah.
pixie cut. But no, I'm going to give it a 9 as well. I thought it was very, very bright and colorful. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, we'll give it a 9. I loved it.
Slayed. Next up, we had Bombshell Monroe.
Bombshell was 80s as fuck. She had this like 80s print. I don't know what it's called. It was like pink and blue. It was like very like wavy. It looked like those cups.
Oh yeah, like the mall and the food court. The mall
Yes,
food
yes,
court.
yes,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it was giving that, but like that's 80s as fuck because that's when I feel like malls were the
Yeah.
biggest in America. So like, yeah, she totally looks like some girl was just going to the mall after school and she wanted to get her. She had her hairspray. She had her shit like that. She was giving 80s.
It was I would say like most like what you'd expect to see if you were to be transported into the
Yes.
80s. Very much like historically accurate. I will say I didn't like how the red of the belt and the shoes were kind of clashing with the pink in a way.
Yes.
You know, I don't know. I felt like the color palette of the garment itself was really, really great. And then the red was kind of like a weird color matching for me.
Yeah, like.
But still, like the hair was crazy good. And it was 80s down.
Yeah, it definitely was 80s
I
as
felt
fuck.
like I was watching Stranger Things again. When they're going to the mall. It was pussy.
I loved it.
But I gave it an 8.
I'm gonna give it an 8 as well.
I thought it was so in the air. This was a great runway so far.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah. All right, we're just going through these. It's great. The performances are what we want to really talk about.
Yeah.
But next up, we had Daya 80's, and she was in this girl.
I loved
Girl.
this look.
Arcade, Pac-Man, blazer, businesswoman, everything.
Yes.
I feel like this is what you'd look up if AI generated like your like 80's runway in like the best way possible. It was everything I loved about the 80's into like one little runway.
Mm-hmm.
The huge hair, the video game reference, the blazer, like it was like a ultimatum. What was it called? Like a like the what everything consummation of 80's. Like I don't know, you know. It was all 80's. I loved it. But I loved the runway. I just know I can't wait to see what she does forward. But compared to previous runways, I know it was a little bit less. But again, she handmade it all. So I think having her own flair of like where she began with her sewing journey of blazers and all that fun stuff, I thought it was very, very cute. I really enjoyed it.
I really, really liked it. Like you said, it was a perfect amalgamation of like everything 80's.
We did it. We did it, Joe.
It was just so smart to do like Pac-Man as like that executive realness, like blazer type, because it's just like two 80's references that we're immediately gonna get and also like mixed together really well. I feel like it was a really cool garment. It had like kind of like reveals, like little peekaboos like on her butt. It was like game over and stuff like that. So it was really cute. It was really cute.
It's
I really
giving
liked
like
it.
first female CEO vibes, you know?
Yes.
Like I'm the woman of this company and I'm gonna run it. So I loved it. I'm gonna give it an 8.
I'm gonna give it a 9. I loved it so much.
It was really good. She slayed that. All right. Next up, we had Her in this Keith Haring red inspired outfit. I was so close to being obsessed with it. I thought it was amazing. I love Keith Haring. A great reference point again with like 80's fashion. There's so many things to go with. I thought Keith Haring was an amazing artist of the time. I just wish that skirt was like a little bit lower.
That's literally same.
Yeah, I wish it was like a pencil skirt because where the blazer ended,
it was
like
right above
below
the
that.
skirt, yeah.
And so I think if they had like a pencil skirt to the knees, that would have been like out of the park for me. But everything else, I loved it. That teeny tiny little kitty cat wig.
Yes.
Loved it. The wide brim hat.
Carmen Sandiego as hell.
It was giving very much like executive, but instead of it being like executive in like a cubicle, it was executive in like California. You know? Like too rich to step in the office kind of vibes, you know? I loved it. I also wish it was rhinestone. Maybe like the white parts of it. But it was a great reference. A great runway, I think.
Yeah. I loved it.
Yeah. I'm going to give it an 8.
I'm gonna give it an 8 too.
But I thought it was amazing. I thought it was a great runway. 80's is hard though because you can't really be too grand without it being tacky in a way. But I guess 80's is tacky. You know,
literally.
We could reference Daya's B runway where she had wings, but then you can't really do that as much as an 80's. So like, these runways are gonna be hard to critique, but I would say like so far they are very, very good.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we had Frida Poussey, and she was in this paint splatter print with this giant crimped hair.
I don't know if I was buying what she was selling that day.
I know that print may have been 80's, but I just wasn't getting 80's. It was kind of giving like 2000s skate rink, like rink,
exactly.
You know, roller rink,
or like
vibes.
A carpet. I feel like a carpet would have that print.
Yeah, the hair was absolutely.
Yeah,
80's.
the hair was definitely.
I loved the hair. It was huge, but I don't know. It just kind of felt like more drag dance costume, whereas other ones were giving like blazer. You know, more runway themed. No, I gave it a 7. No, in my notes, I gave it a 7. So Frida beat her up. But no, I just wish it was more of a concept versus like a drag costume per se. You know, because these are runways. You know, you have your performance challenges where you have those outfits, and then you have runways where, you know, you need to take time and money and effort. Not that it didn't, you know, rhinestone. I'm sure she took a lot of time to rhinestone these things, but I just feel like, I don't know, it was giving too drag to me.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know,
everyone else was giving more 80's.
If it wasn't for the hair, I would not have known that it was 80's.
Yeah.
So that's where the hair really carried over for me. But That's just my, who am I to judge? Last but not least, we had Botox.
I love this one.
Girl, what did you love about it?
I love that it was like punk, and I was like, yes, I love that like nobody else really did punk anything for 80s.
Yeah.
But that's like a huge part. I feel like that was like a huge subculture at that time.
Absolutely.
So,
And
yeah.
the big part of these runways is thinking outside of the box. I think
Exactly.
Botox did an amazing job. Although Botox is a drag king, he didn't have to do masculine.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like that was like perfectly in front of them, like punk,
Mhm.
And I feel like any of these girls could have done punk rock, but they didn't because they wanted to think of more bubblegum fun in the mall kind of vibes.
Yes.
But nobody really thought, damn, punk rock. I loved it. I loved how, as a man drag, instead of it being rhinestones, it was safety
Mhm.
pins.
Yes.
And there was like a mask and like a full like headpiece. I loved it down. I thought yellow was such a fun color.
Yes.
It wasn't giving too much of like scene, because it could be easily mistaken for scene, Y2K kind of vibes.
Mhm.
I thought it was giving very much
80s,
punk.
yeah, I agree.
I'm gonna give it a 9.
I'm gonna give it a 9 as well. It was
I thought
really,
it was
really
great.
good.
It was a really strong runway for Botox.
You know what I just noticed
What?
is maybe that people were not doing the punk rock for their runways because a lot of them were choosing like glam rock for their performances.
Ooh.
So maybe they wanted to show like more sides of them, versatility.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
Who knows? We'll have to
knows?
find out. All right, shall we get on to our performances?
yes.
I love them. I thought they were really fun. I thought they were really strong.
Yes.
But I will say, only one of them surprises me.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoyed almost every single performance, but only one of them truly gagged me, and we'll get to that. But first, we'll start off with Miss Tabitha Christie. So Miss Tabitha Christie said, "Turn the lights off. I am bringing my whole set for me." And she came out, set up her own lights, her own fan, her own cauldron, and really dictated her own performance, which I
She
thought
did.
was great. With these solo performances, where it's up to your interpretation, you have to think outside the box. You can't really just come up here and do another club number, because we're looking for your interpretation, you
Yeah.
know. And I
That
thought
extra.
she started out very strong with this. It was Stevie Nicks.
Mm-hmm. Edge of 17.
Age of 17. Great, strong. The costume was there. I loved it.
Yeah. I liked it. I don't know. The production was really cool, but I feel like it was a little bit one note. Like it didn't really have a build up or anything. Like there was no like really gaggy moment. I can think of like maybe one, which is when she spun and like the circle and all the lights were like.
Yeah.
But it wasn't as gaggy as I guess I was expecting it to be, and I think that's what let me down about it.
I can understand that, but I think when she had her own lights
Mm-hmm.
and her own set, she chose what happened. So like
Yeah.
I didn't know what was gonna happen next because I don't know these lights. I don't know her things.
Mhm.
Whereas with these lights, you can
Yeah.
predict what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So the fact that she didn't have everything that was controlling lighting and everything was her own, I had no choice but to kind of wonder what was gonna happen, which was kind of nice.
Yeah.
I couldn't see. I was in the corner, but apparently she had a cauldron that was like spewing out fake smoke,
Yeah.
which I think was really cool. Again, making it your own set, making your
Ambiance.
own little concert. So I gave it, as far as production and song choice and costuming, a 9. Because I feel like it was a lot of production went into this, you know?
Yeah. As a girl who loves production, famously flew on this stage, built my own set on this stage, I still wasn't entirely getting like as much as I wanted. I really was expecting more from Tabitha. And maybe that's like a bad way to judge is based on what you thought you were gonna get. You know what I mean?
But also,
I don't know.
this is, they know their drag, so
Yeah,
they should-
exactly.
They know what they should be bringing.
Exactly.
I thought it was
They know
very
themselves the best.
production. What
It
do you
was
give it?
good. I mean, like, I don't think it was bad. It was just, like, the thing was, I guess I was expecting it to be better or more gaggy, like, more surprising, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. You know, it was just a really good performance. But it wasn't, like, any groundbreaking, which is, like, normally I would be like, that's fine. But so far in the competition, everybody's been really doing, like, groundbreaking things every week. So it's,
Yeah.
like, you kind of are expecting that. So I'm going to give it an 8.
Still good.
Yeah, it was good.
I loved it. I thought it was good. As an opener, too.
Mhm.
I thought it was a great
Yeah,
opener.
it was a good opener, for
Yeah.
sure.
Great job, Dabby. Next up, we had Tiara Masu, and she did this kind of, what's that one where they pull the water? Flashdance.
Yes.
It wasn't Flashdance like inspired, but like I felt like with the choreography, she did "Pour Sugar on Me," "Pour Some Sugar on Me," as her song, and I felt like she had a lot of choreography, and it was very much giving Flashdance, which I loved. And these giant like thigh highs, legs. That's all I'm gonna say. Legs. I loved it. She had a little snub with her headband where it came off, but I thought otherwise she was serving like 80s sex. Like it was really, really good.
Really good.
I loved it. At the very end, she poured a bag of candy on her. Pour some sugar on me. I thought it was a great way to add some more flair. You know, with these solo numbers, you need to have props, extras. You know, kind of like a set feeling because you don't want it to be like another number.
Yeah.
So I feel like the chair, in combination with the candy, was good enough to put her above. You know, possibly what could have been the bottom.
Yeah.
And I had a piece of the candy and it was yummy. So you get extra points for me. What did you think?
I really loved it. Exactly what you said. She was serving sex. Like, it was so good. I was definitely getting 80s and that, like, rock and roll vibe. And just, like, I don't know. I was living. And even the headband thing, I didn't think it was, like a mess up. But to me, it didn't even look that bad. Because, like, I feel like that would have happened at the time. You just, like, off. Peel it like that, like a rocky person just, like, peeling it off and throwing it off. Like, that would happen in the 80s, I feel like. So it didn't really throw it off that much for me. I really love that performance so much.
Yeah. I am going to give it an 8.
I'm going to give it a 9.
I will say I was like 8.5. When she was doing like all those splits and like just the leg stuff, that's what we expect from Tiramisu, but I love it every time.
Yeah, literally.
I love it. So I thought she did amazing. So I give it an 8.
Yeah, 9.
Slay. During her choreography though, she was like jumping on it and it like started to bend down. I was giggling so hard because I was like, girl, don't break the chair.
Yeah, literally.
It was crazy. And then I think like 3 other contestants also used that
They
same
used the
chair.
exact same chair.
And I was like,
it was bending under them. Like, I was like, hello?
Is Tiara sabotaging the other contestants? I thought it was... Ooh. Gag. She did that on purpose? I thought it was very funny though because like she would put her full body weight on like the tip of the chair and it was bendy. But no, I thought it was very good.
I loved it.
Next up, we had Bombshell Monroe. I don't remember the song she did.
Mercedes Baby.
Mercedes Baby. That's why she had a Mercedes necklace. I thought the costume was 80s down, similar silhouette to her runway. But there just wasn't much of production there.
Yeah.
Which is what I was kind of disappointed in because, again, when you're tasked with a number, we all do drag, so we all lip sync, we all do these things. So you have to think outside the box.
Yeah. How do you add that extra flair?
I don't think she had much production from me, which is kind of disappointing. But she was in character the entire time. She, like, you know, if 80s and the drag in the 80s was doing a number, I felt like again, she did a great job of transporting us into that decade.
Yeah. Her moves were also 80s.
Yeah. But I just kind of felt like that was really it. You know, like, she was in character, but I wanted to see more.
Yeah. I agree with that. Yeah. I feel like it was just, like I said, with the other numbers, it was just a performance, you know?
Yeah.
So there was nothing, like, gaggy or groundbreaking about it. But it was really, like, very 80s as hell.
Yeah, very in character, which is so crucial to this, but I just wanted a little more production. So I gave it a 7.
I'm going to give it a 7 as well. Next up, we have Diabetes. And she was performing Living on a Prayer by Bon Jovi?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I thought it was a smart decision to do non-female singer, glam rock kind of
Yes. Because glam rock is so drag anyway. It's like, they were wearing big hair. They were wearing lots of makeup.
I also loved it. It was giving very much choreography.
Yes.
I loved it. Like, I loved the little prayer move. Like, Diva, if you're going to be living on a prayer. Okay.
You better pray.
And I just loved, like, the outfit was so, like, rock, you know, vibes.
Yeah.
And famously, Dia made that outfit herself, as usual. I just thought it was all the vibes matched up. I loved it.
Yeah, I loved it too.
Very clean as well.
Yeah.
And then she had her guitar solo with that rhinestone guitar.
She caught it.
Yeah. She was going to smash on stage, and I was so scared for a second, but then she didn't.
And she was like, no.
Because, like,
that was like, so funny.
That's a sacred guitar. So I was like, please don't smash it. But I thought it was great, you know. It was closer with less production. But again, she took a genre that was not really used.
Yeah, more
So
unexpected.
I think she was like the first one who did glam rock.
Yeah.
Well, Tiara kind of, but not as much rock.
Yeah.
Tiara did like more sex. I would say sex.
Yeah. She
But
didn't give like, yeah.
Dia was the first one to kind of do like more of that grungy side. So I
Yes,
feel like
yes.
She did a great job with that first number of like showing off that kind of like grungy side.
Mhm.
I thought it was great. It was very much, we know Dia for more cutesy and more thought out, kind of like thinking numbers. So for her to kind of just have fun and be more raw,
Yeah.
I loved it.
I
really
loved
did.
it so much.
So I'm gonna give it a 8.
I'm gonna give it a 9. Also, I really love this performance. She was taking me there to the 80s and giving me rock and glam rock, and I loved it so much.
She was so in it. I
Yeah,
loved it.
she was in it as hell. Like you could see in
Yeah.
her face and her eyes, like she was giving it.
Yeah, I'm just a stickler for production, which is like why I'm being so hard on the judges. But like,
Yeah.
I just thought it was amazing. I was fully, what's that word when you're like in the zone, encapsulated? Yeah.
No.
Engaged. I was engaged.
Engaged, yes.
Yeah, I was thoroughly engaged throughout the entire number. Next up, we had Trev Her Girl. I was scared at first because the outfit was kind of simple. It was a bodysuit with a belt. But boy, was I wrong. I'm still gagged thinking about it. Okay, so Trevor did this WWE kind of style
Glow.
wrestling.
Glamorous
mashup.
ladies of wrestling.
Very that. And she had an extra on stage. And they were like actually fighting. Like not
Yeah.
actually fighting, but like they were like
Stage
going to
fighting.
the ground, like stage fighting, like to the ground. I was like gagged. I felt like I was in the ring. I was like, oh my god, like did she get hurt? Like she's going down.
The chair.
There was like point where like they both lifted each other up, like
Yeah.
spinning around. Like I felt like I was in the ring. I was so gagged because, with production again, it's all about concepts too.
Yeah.
Think outside the box. If you have one extra person and you have 2 chairs, boom. Like what can you do with that? I thought it was phenomenal.
2
I
performers,
also-
1 chair.
I also was so gagged by that wig reveal.
Yes, oh my god, it was so clean and I did not expect it at all.
So she had like this brown curly hair with like a headband. I was like, cute. That's like such like 80s hair.
Yeah.
And then during the wrestling, the guy like grabbed her head, and I was like, aw, don't like take off your wig. 'Cause I was
Yeah.
like, there's no way there's a wig underneath that. And he pulls it, and I was like, what? There was a pussycat wig underneath it. Gagged. Because, wig reveals are the best when you don't expect them, and I
Yes.
was not expecting that to happen. And it was so clean. Mind you, he had a full grip on Trevor's head.
Yeah.
Trevor's head. And I was like, oh, like, you're grabbing the full wig and everything underneath it. And it was so perfect. I was floored. It was so gaggy. I loved it. And I also loved the flip of once the wig came off, she, like, became, like, the macho woman and just really took him over and, like, beat the hell out of him. I loved it. I felt like I was in the ring. It was amazing.
I loved this. It was the only one of the only ones actually. It was the first one that we saw in the order that really took it outside the box of just being a performance
Yeah.
and being like, this is a concept, this is a story.
Yeah.
I loved it so much. It definitely gets a 10 out of 10 for
I
me.
also agree. 10 out of 10.
Oh wait, that was the wrong one. 11? Was it 11 for you?
I was floored and I was gagged. As far as, okay, so we have one for Tabitha for look, yes. As far as performances, I would say it's an 11. You gotta put up the photo, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Ding. As far as performance-based challenges, that one really floored me because I was not expecting it whatsoever.
Yeah, not at all.
They literally slamming the chair over them, lifting each other up, like literally tackling as a drag number. Drag is a contact sport. I thought it was amazing. Yeah. Boom. Shakalaka. Follow that up. And actually, I had a chance to talk to Detective Fierce on the case, on the scene, at the place of where the crime was done with Miss Trev Her, because I wanted to know, what was that thought process?
Yeah, literally. How did she come up with that?
Detective Fierce, what have you got? Hey y'all, Detective Fierce here, aka Venetian, star of Mixed Shakers Season 1, and I'm here with Trev Her. Now, Trev Her Usually we ask kind of like in-depth questions about how you did before and how you're feeling later. I just genuinely want to know, what was your thought process and creative direction with this number tonight?
I try my best to think, what is the stupidest, dumbest thing that I could possibly do on stage? And I know that Glow happened in the 80s, and I was like, you know what? Why not do a wrestling match on stage? I just like to think of the most out-of-the-box thing, I guess.
Bitch, I was gagged, gooped, and I'm speechless. That was honestly, I think, top 10 Shakers moments ever on that stage, in my opinion.
That's crazy.
But thank you for your time, and we can't wait to see your placements.
Thanks, babe.
Thanks, Detective Fears. We love you.
She's so hot. Oh my god. Frida did this spoken word, which is one thing that I
What was her
knew
name?
she was gonna do. Positive connotation. Don't fuck with me,
Who is
fellas.
yeah, who is that?
I don't know, Mommy Dearest. I don't know. I really don't know the
Who's Mommy
movie.
Dearest? No. Wait. It's off the top of my... It's like the tip of my tongue. Not Fran Drescher.
No.
It's the other one that starts with that genre.
Yeah.
What is that
But-
bitch's name?
I have no idea. But it was really good. It was spoken word. Very cutesy. Spoken word was going to be one where I'm like, one person's going to do it, and it's going to be Frida. And I'm happy she did, because everyone's doing performances, but the challenge was just 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was very good. I will say what caught me off guard was just kind of the mashup of music, per se. Like, the first song kind of felt good, and then the second song was like, well, I guess it's like relating to the spoken word.
Yeah.
But then the songs kind of just got random for me, and I was kind of like, just kind of lost in it after
Yeah.
that.
Also, I wasn't getting very 80s, other than the song, like the song choices, but the song choices didn't make sense. So it was like, what about like? It felt like it was the 80s was like thrown in, like it wasn't like
Yeah.
thought out to be 80s.
I know the movie
guess.
was in the 80s as well, but I didn't
But
feel
the
like...
movie isn't about the 80s. It's like from the 80s, but it's not about the
Yes.
80s. You know what I mean? So I feel like
Yeah.
that's an interesting choice.
It just kind of felt like a mega mix of like
Yeah.
80s, you know? So
yeah, literally.
I gave it a 7.
I'll give it a 7.
Because she knew those words, the spoken word.
Yeah, the spoken word, she had it down.
Yeah.
I was really like,
I just
damn.
felt like the further it went on, the more I kind of lost kind of like the original concept.
Yeah.
You know? I would have loved if she did the spoken word and then went into like one song that was like a power ballad, you know?
Yes.
But when she went to Michael Jackson, I'm Bad, I was like, oh, now wait a minute. But yeah. All right. And last but not least, we had Botox.
Sexual Healing by Marvin Gaye.
Healing. Who's gay? Exactly. I loved
Not
it.
Botox.
Never. I loved it because it's, again, a big concept. They took a big swing, and I feel like it really landed. I loved it. Yeah. They had 2 backup nurses, Ash and Amy.
Backup nurses.
Ash and Amy, hi for watching
Hi.
this. Y'all looked so sexy.
Yeah, y'all ate.
So good. I thought it was great. And, I thought it was very funny how Botox kind of just sat in the seat like the entire number and did nothing. But I kind of thought that was funny. Like, it was giving hospice.
Yes.
Like, I literally can't get up. Like, wash me. I thought he was a doctor at first. But he was a patient. And I still loved it. And, I don't know Bo's creative process, but I think Detective Fierce got to know a little bit of Bo's thought process. So, let me call her real quick. Ring, 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 ring. Hey, y'all. Detective Fierce here, a.k.a. Venetian star of Mix Shakers Season 1, and I'm here with...
Botox.
Now, Botox, we don't have a question for you, but we have a question for you.
Okay.
What was your creative process with this week's performance?
Oh. Honestly, I was tired and I was like, what if I just sat in a chair the whole time? So I didn't really have to move and try that hard. I also wanted to be campy and stupid.
That seems to be a common theme for the 80s. How were you feeling going into critiques?
I'm a little nervous. I'm like really hard on myself, so I never know what they're gonna clock. Or not clock. I have no idea. So I will stay nervous until I know, but hopefully good.
To clock or not clock? That is the T.
Wink.
Back to you at the station. Girl, you were working overtime. Thank you so much, Detective Fierce. But yeah, I thought Bo was so smart. Literally wanted to sit in a chair for the entire number and do nothing. And they did.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. big on concepts.
Yes.
The concept was so immersive.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
It just worked.
That's a perfect word for it. I was gonna say, like, I felt like very much we were in the way the music and the performance like meshed together really well. Especially that song is very like a
Slow and sultry.
vibey. Yeah. So it's like you feel like you're in the kind of like in the song.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I feel like that really helped. Like the performance brought you in and you were really immersed, especially with the bubbles at the end everywhere.
Yes,
it was
the
so
bubbles
pretty.
and then like the bubble costume. I thought it was very, very well done.
There were a lot of good moments.
And the socks were rhinestoned.
Yes, I noticed that. The grippy socks were rhinestoned. If you've ever been to the Looney, you know what I'm talking about.
I give it a 9.
I give it a 9 as well.
Great job, Botox. This is a strong week for Botox, I will say.
Yes, it was.
Slay
I
that.
loved the runway too.
All right. With that being said, all the performances and runways were over. We had a little number from Miss Serotonin from last week's Eliminated
It
Girl.
was really fucking funny.
It was so funny. She did the SNL skit with
Antonio.
To sing that. And then it went Into You. Or no, Break Free.
Into You.
Into You by Ariana Grande, because famously Ariana did it. It was very fun. Go show love to all of our eliminated queens. Each week, the previously eliminated girl performs.
Yeah.
Placement.
Yes.
All right. So this week in the top, we had Tabitha Christie, Botox, and Trev Her. Now, do we agree with that?
Mostly.
Ooh.
I think I would have put Tiara or... Yeah, I think I would have put Tiara in the top over Tabitha.
Gag.
But that's my personal opinion. It was very close for me, so...
Well, I agree with the top 3. Yeah, I agree. I would have put the same 3 there. And our winner this week was...
Trevor! She has 2 wins.
Yes, Trevor now has 2 wins. She is now leading the leaderboard.
Yeah.
For this season, and I'm so proud of her because again, these are like you have to think outside the box. And I think her runways so far this season and her performances have been so strong and so confident.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud of her.
She knows who she is, and
Yes.
she's delivering it.
And that's what's crazy because she's only been doing drag for 1 year.
Wow.
Clock it. I loved it. I thought it was
loved
amazing.
it too.
So that means that Tabitha Christie and Botox were safe. And then in the
They were safe?
The remaining contestants were Tiramisu, Frida, Bombshell, and Diabetes. And the 2 that were safe were,
Tiara and Daya.
which means that Bombshell and Frida were in the bottom 2.
Both
Do
of
we
them
agree?
have lip synced before,
Yeah.
so
I agree.
I agree as well.
Yeah, and they're both in the bottom before, so it's anybody's game. There's no like. Well, Frida had a better track record,
Yeah, because she had the high from the roast.
but this is a lip sync for your. This
Yeah.
is a lip battle for your life.
Lip battle.
Copyright. I had no expectations going into this.
Yeah, neither
I don't
did
know the
I.
lip sync song. It
I
was
didn't
an
either.
80s song.
Yeah.
But I will say, I agree with the results because one person I feel like did tear up the dance
Tear
floor.
it up. Yeah.
But it was, I thought it was really good.
And Bomb was giving 80s as hell.
Yes.
So
Bombshell won the lip sync, and she
Yes.
was safe to slay another day. And Miss Frida Poussey had a sachet away. Aww. But yeah, so she gave it her best. I loved it. She had a strong week
Yeah.
for her roast. I thought it was amazing, and I thought her run was really nice as well.
yeah, she had a good run. She should be very proud of herself. She did
Yeah.
a great job, and she showed a lot of people who she is.
Yeah, go give her some love. Go follow her. Go find her at her shows. And she'll be back next week for the performance.
Yes.
And with that being said, next week's theme is
Snatch Game.
I was in the top for Snatch Game. I'm so excited because this is hard. That's it. It's hard. Which means that there will be no runway, and that the runway is like
Is
their
their
Snatch Game
character,
look.
yeah.
I did Marge Simpson on my season.
I was eliminated on my season, but I was gonna do Yzma from The Emperor's New Groove.
Ooh, that would have been really good.
Yeah. Pull the lever, crunk.
Hey, that was really good.
I feel like you would have been in the top. That was really good. Hold that
Thank
like a
you.
clunk. So next week is Snatch Game. We'll be here hopefully on a Tuesday. But with that being said,
Said.
I'm Spooky Dookie.
And I'm Creepy Eepy. And this was... What? The Shakedown!
Yeah.
Well, yes.